Russell Westbrook has endured a lot as a Los Angeles Laker, and although he played pretty well for the most part at the start of the season, he was eventually traded to the Los Angeles Clippers to form a Kawhi, George, and Russ trio. The Clippers were already a solid team without him, but the addition of the former MVP might just push them over that championship threshold. We'll explain why by taking a deep dive and breaking down Russell Westbrook's game as of late. Russell Westbrook is averaging 15 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 7.6 assists, while shooting 43% from the field, 30% from 3, and 65% from the free throw line. He's 19th in the NBA in drives per game, and he's 10th among all guards in field goal percentage in the restricted area. So he is getting to the rim and converting at a really high level, and that's mainly what his game revolves around. There were many times during his stint with the Lakers that his elite driving ability won them games, or just very big buckets at the very least. And honestly, there isn't a guard in the NBA who can keep Russ from driving to the basket, or defend him in the post consistently. And that's really where he separates himself from other inside-oriented guards like Ja Morant and SGA. Russ doesn't need finesse, or sweep footwork and agility to get points in the paint. He just uses his strength to muscle his way inside. And that's why he's still one of the most unique point guards in the NBA. The Clippers are ranked 25th in points in the paint, but over their last 14 games, they're 18th, and that's largely due to Westbrook. His ability to put pressure on the defense is what really makes him an impactful offensive player. He's someone who can easily take advantage of a team not having a good rim protector on the court, and that's got to be such a relief for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Having your point guard being able to efficiently score points on the inside really gives them a helping hand, and can take the pressure off of them. But we do have to admit, him shooting 65% from the free throw line really waters down his offensive impact. Because think about this, SGA is first in drives per game, meaning he gets to the rim more than anyone else in the NBA. But he's also third in the NBA in free throw percentage, which is incredible. When you have a player who can get to the rim and shoot free throws at an elite level, you become a very difficult player to stop. Because we all know today's referees will call even the slightest bit of contact a foul. So if you can go to the line 7, 8, or even 10 times a game while converting at least 84%, your scoring averages are gonna skyrocket. And that's why a lot of the game's leading scorers are elite finishers and free throw shooters. Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, and Kyrie Irving can all rack up points and free throws at an insane rate. And that's why they're always gonna average at least 25 points per game. We're not trying to compare Russ to those superstar level players, but the point is, elite finishers are a lot more impactful when they can make their free throws as well. Overall, his driving ability acts as a Swiss Army knife for the Clippers offense. And if he can raise his free throw shooting to at least maybe like 72% during the playoffs, that could work wonders. But now let's talk about what may be his best attribute: playmaking and facilitating. Russ is averaging over 9 assists per game over his last 7 games. And that's not really a surprise, because he's averaged over 9 assists 5 times in his Hall of Fame career. He's got amazing court vision, and he often sees things before they actually happen. And plus, he has that ability to make literally any center look like an all-star due to how easily he can get them easy looks down low. But we do have to address the elephant in the room. Westbrook's decision-making and IQ at times can be a little underwhelming, and that's why he's 5th in the NBA in turnovers per game. Some people do like to come to his defense and say things like Trae Young, Luka, and Giannis turn the ball over way more than he does, and they never get bashed for it. But this is why he gets more backlash for turning the ball over. Trae Young, Luka, and Giannis all play over 32 plus minutes a night, while also averaging significantly more touches per game. Luka is 4th in the NBA in touches per game with 90. Trae Young is 13th with 79, and Giannis is 17th with 77. And Russ, he's not even in the top 50 in touches per game. And yet, he is still 4th in the NBA in turnovers. To further prove this, he leads the NBA in turnovers per 36 minutes. Need we say more? We're not trying to bash him or anything, we're just stating facts here. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that he's a really good passer. And the Clippers are 24th on the season in assists per game, but over their last 14 games, they're 11th. And again, that's mainly due to Westbrook. So it's easy to hate and criticize Russ, but the truth is he's already making a big impact for the Clippers. They lacked a true point guard, and now that they have one, things are running a lot more smoothly, and Kawhi and George can focus more on scoring. And while Kawhi and George can handle the ball and run an offense, they aren't naturally playmakers and facilitators, and that can sometimes have a negative impact on their scoring or energy on the other end of the court. But now, with Russ, that won't be as big a problem as before. And that's really why Russ increases the Clippers' title chances. His game and abilities open things up for two of the most versatile scorers in the NBA today. But now let's move on to Westbrook's defense. He's averaging a steal and 0.5 blocks per game this year. This, along with his three-point shooting, really brings down his game a lot and makes him unplayable at times. Russ does have his good defensive moments, but that's the thing. They're just moments. He's not a consistent defender at all. The Clippers have a 118.6 defensive rating with Russell Westbrook on the court, and a 114.3 defensive rating without him on the court. So while he does improve the function of the Clippers' offense, he's also hurting their defense. But in all honesty, he's not really a defensive liability like a Trae Young or a Jalen Green. His biggest problem really is his perimeter defense against quicker and more explosive players. But he is a good post defender and has pretty solid defensive instincts overall. And the Clippers are 12th in defensive rating over their last 14 games. So while he isn't the best defender, he's still far from the worst. But basketball isn't a one-man sport, and although we think Russ increases their chances of success, it will be impossible to win a ring without the claw in PG-13. Kawhi is averaging 23.6 rebounds and 4 assists per game, while shooting 51% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, and 41% from 3 on 4.7 attempts. So he has been playing amazing, proving to still be a superstar caliber player. On offense, he's still one of the most lethal mid-range scorers in the NBA. In fact, he's 6th in the league right now in field goal percentage in the mid-range, shooting 49.8% on 5 attempts per game. We all know he can get buckets at will, and with him being one of the best mid-range assassins in the game while also shooting an amazing 41% from 3, he looks to already be in playoff form. And although he hasn't played that many games this season, he's still shooting his highest three-point percentage since 2015. And over his last 7 games, he's shooting 44% from deep. So he's just hyper efficient all around. And on defense, while he isn't the Defensive Player of the Year candidate he once was, he's still a really good defender. He's even averaging 1.5 steals per game, proving he can still take the ball from the opposing team with the best of the best. And as he gets older, he has lost some of his lateral speed, but his unreal defensive instincts and length are all still intact, making him a defender you do not want to go up against in the playoffs. And for his partner in crime, Paul George, he's averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 45% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, and 37% from 3 on 7 attempts per game. So you have both Kawhi and George playing at a really high level on both ends of the floor. And now the Clippers have a true point guard in Russell Westbrook, who can facilitate and give them some much needed extra points in the scoring department. And not to mention, the Clippers do have some of the best role players in the league in Norman Powell, Robert Covington, and Terrence Mann. So overall, the Clippers have one of the most well-rounded teams in the league. They're 4th in three-point percentage, 13th in field goal percentage, and 13th in win percentage. But what do you think? Does the addition of Russell Westbrook make them championship contenders? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.